Welcome to this short video about researching cases with terms and connectors. My name is Rebecca Valentine, and I am a public services librarian here at UMass Law Library. This video is intended for 1Ls taking legal skills, but could be helpful to anyone who wants to learn more about using terms and connectors searching to find case law in Lexis and Westlaw. This video will explain the two types of searches you can create, tell you why you should use a terms and connectors search, what terms are, what connectors are, and how to use them. Finally, I will show you different ways to put it all together. There are two types of searches you can conduct. One is a natural language search, and the other is a terms and connectors search. First, I'll talk about natural language searching. A natural language search is the type of search you do while using Google. It is sometimes referred to as a plain language search. Both Lexis and Westlaw use this as a default. It is good for returning many results, but there are likely to be too many results that aren't relevant. However, it can be a good place to figure out if your phrasing will work or if you need to pivot. Next, we'll talk about using terms and connectors. A terms and connectors search is a search string made up of keywords, that is terms, and conjunctions, that is connectors. Think of it this way. Terms are your keywords, and connectors are how you link those terms together. It is also called a Boolean search. You may get fewer results, but those results are more likely to be relevant to your research topic. Why should you use terms and connectors? Creating a terms and connectors search is more efficient because you are controlling how the database should search for each of your keywords. This means you're less likely to come across irrelevant material, letting you spend more time on reviewing sources and less time creating search strings. Before I begin explaining how to create a terms and connectors search, we should break it down a little more. First, search terms. I already said that they are keywords, but what does that mean to you, and how do you decide which to use? Search terms are the keywords you put into a search box in order to find cases that will answer your client's question. You create them using the who, what, where, when, and why of your research topic or case file. I usually start with broader terms and narrow them as I learn more about the topic. You also want to think of a few synonyms or related terms because different attorneys and judges will use different words for the same concept. Here's an example of broader keyword search you could use to start your search. But what if you want to find a few synonyms for these words? I'm sure you know plenty of ways to look for synonyms already. However, both Westlaw and Lexis have legal thesauruses you can use. On Westlaw, all you have to do is click on Advanced Search and click on Thesaurus. Then you type your search terms and click Apply. On Lexis, navigate to Secondary Sources, select Dictionaries, and click on Burton's Legal Thesaurus. Then you can search through for the term you want, or you can type your term into the search box. Now that we know how to generate some keywords, how do you go about using connectors? First, you should know what some of them are. There are three basic near-universal connectors. Those are and, or, and not. These connectors are not case-sensitive on Westlaw or Lexis, but that will vary for other databases. You can think of each of your terms layered over each other like a Venn diagram. For instance, and will make sure both terms will appear somewhere in each result. As you can see from the diagram, this will greatly limit results. The use of or will allow either term to appear somewhere in the results, but it doesn't have to be both, so this search creates the broadest search, as you can see from the diagram. The use of not, or but not, or and not, or the percentage symbol on Westlaw will only show results without the specified term. This will create search results that are broader than an and search, but narrower than an or search. Once you have these three connectors mastered, there's many more connectors that will assist your searches. As I said on the previous slide, and will guarantee that your terms will appear somewhere in each result. However, those results could be anywhere within the case with far less connection than you intended. To overcome that, you can use a proximity connector. For instance, you can use a / with an N to specify how close you want your search terms to appear together. Substitute the letter N for your desired number. If you don't have a specific number in mind, you can use an S for the terms to be in the same sentence, or P for the terms to appear in the same paragraph. You can use quotation marks to search an exact phrase. An exclamation point can be put at the end of a root word to search for different endings, as with child and children. Search algorithms have their own complicated order of operations, and each connector is prioritized differently. To have more control over this, you can use parentheses to ensure the search string within is processed first. And the last term I will cover is at least n with a number to specify how many times you want a term to appear. Just replace the n with the desired number. Please note that the search term has to be put inside the parentheses. Now let's use these connectors to create a search string using the keywords we came up with earlier. While there are many ways to put this together, here are just a few examples. Injury and sport and negligence is a good starting point, but negligence can have multiple endings, so instead we can try injury and sport and negligen ! Which will search for all three terms together while also expanding the root word and search for multiple endings. Another search is injury /s sport /s negligen ! Which will ensure all three words and the specified multiple endings are in the same sentence together. Injury /s sport or rugby /s negligen ! Will ensure injury and all versions of negligen will appear with either sport or rugby in the same sentence. And finally, for now, at least 5 injury /s at least 5 sport /s at least 5 negligen ! Will ensure all three words and the specified multiple endings are in the same sentence together a minimum of 5 different times. Before we even start our searching with terms and connectors, we can make the search even more targeted by starting with the pre-search filters. We do this by selecting a database in Lexis or Westlaw, such as your jurisdiction, a topic or key number, or in the headnotes that you may have discovered in previous research steps you've taken. If you've already conducted a search, you can also use post-search filtering. By selecting the options on the left sidebar in Lexis or Westlaw, there are many to choose from, but good places to start are the jurisdiction, if you didn't select that as a pre-filter, and reported or published status. To find quick guides to the basic connectors covered in this video, visit the advanced search pages on Lexis or Westlaw, and they will appear on the right side. If you have any questions, please email me at rvalentine@umassd.edu. For general questions, email lawlib@umassd.edu. You can find this video and more on our YouTube channel. Thank you.